America, black people are treated very much as the Vietnamese people or any other colonized people because we're brutalized. The police in our community occupy our area, our community as a foreign troop occupies territory. And the police are there not to, in our community, not to promote our welfare or for our security and our safety, but they're there to contain us, to brutalize us and murder us because they have their orders to do so. And just as the soldiers in Vietnam have their orders to destroy the Vietnamese people, the police in our community couldn't possibly be there to protect our property because we own no property. They couldn't possibly be there to see that we receive the due process of law for the simple reason that the police themselves deny us the due process of law. And so it's very apparent that the police are only in our community, not for our security, but the security of the business owners in the community, and also to see that the status quo is kept intact.
Welcome to another episode of RBN Live. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. Let's just go around the table and let everybody say what's up. Whoever wants to go first. Let's go to JB.
Me? Little old me? Hi, everybody. JB James Fauntleroy, also known as Chocolate Lightning. Good to see you.
And then
I saw the thing, so I had to say it.
And then Josana.
Hello, everyone. I'm always happy to be here with my comrades on RBN and the chat and the screen, and now in calling too. I'm excited. Let's do this.
And Nick.
What's popping, my friends, my family? We are live with the amazing Josana, my brother CJ, my man JB. It's always great to be with family on Tuesday. We got a lot to talk about. We also live on Callin as well. I've been enjoying Callin. Me and Josana, we had fun today when she rated our Callin. It's been fun.
I sang. I can't believe that. I sang and I was sober.
Yeah.
That's why I get high all the time, so I don't do stuff like that.
Callin, we get to have fun. We get to kick back, relax. Josana was singing. We got to saw the soul come out of Josana. It was a beautiful thing. The next Callin episode is gonna be 60 minutes of just us listening to Josana singing. But anyway, what's going on, CJ?
What's up, everybody? So we started a little late. My internet had been down and just not working correctly, so that's the reason why we're starting a little late. Finally got it fixed. And then, as you see, the topic. This is something we can talk about all day long. Pretty easy topic, but we got several other topics. It just feels like with a lot of things that are happening right now, just converging, it feels like this is revolutionary time, and it feels like the managerial class is selling us out. It's selling out the proletariat because. Go ahead.
Sorry, CJ, but
No, go ahead.
I saw one of the people that you had on there, Robert Reich, who
Yes.
I don't know how he get passed as a progressive. Like he's one of the people that like cheermongering the war against Ukraine. We need to send more weapons to Ukraine, and he's pretty much a Democratic Party operative. And I want to show you guys. I saw this earlier, so I pulled it up when I saw him. He's part of people who are authoritarian hypocrites. Because at RBN, we've been pretty consistent. CJ, have you seen this? So Defiant L's always shows the hypocrisies of these shit libs, right?
Oh my God.
So we've been consistent. I'll tell you guys why I was against mandates. I don't believe that our capitalist state has the mandate to tell us what we should do with our body. That's period. That's not a question for me. But that's why we are also pro-choice, because we don't believe the government should be able to tell us what to do with our body. But here is Robert Reich. He says, let me get one thing straight. Freedom does not mean you have the right to recklessly endanger others by refusing to get vaccinated, even though you had the vaccine, so you should be protected anyway. But hey, we want to force you to take this vaccine. Meanwhile, they also said, he's saying this now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but every person should have control over their body. Hey, if only you guys were consistent on this issue, and not only just Robert, the right wingers as well. The people who are like, oh my God, we need body autonomy. Now they want to tell you how the working class can plan their
Right.
family. That's the first thing I thought when you pulled up Robert, because he's like the main guy. He'll call out like billionaires every once in a while. He's like, yeah, billionaires are greedy, and they'd be like, oh, he's progressive. But then he'll go along with every single Democratic Party psyop. He pushing January 6th. All the progressives are tweeting about it.
It's so hard for people. It's so. I mean, I guess I get it. I guess I get it. If I'm surfacely looking at it, it's so hard for people to make a distinction on where does left start and conservative stop, because everybody is signaling that they're for the people. You get what I'm saying? Like everybody is doing that signaling, so it's so hard for people to kind of make that determination. I guess, but it felt like just reflecting on some of the just reflecting on some of the takes of the managerial class. I was just like, wow, I'm trying to think of a good take they have for the proletariat. Like I'm trying to think of what are they offering, and you can take some of the people in the thumbnail if you want to just talk about specific people. And I'm trying to say, for example, of these 6 people, like what are you offering the proletariat? Like Noam Chomsky, yeah, you give great analysis of a terrible system. Beyond that, what does he do for the proletariat? Really, like what does he do? And then Tom Hartman. Now, Tom Hartman, people had Cenk Uygur as their, oh, he's the first progressive. Tom Hartman was the first progressive I started to listen to. He was the first, I guess you could call him liberal now, but he was the first progressive. And I'm hearing him talk about January 6th. I'm hearing him talk about losing, freedom being voted away and voting out fascism. I'm like, wow, this is Tom Hartman. Like what, like your take, JB or Josana? I don't want to keep going.
Ladies first.
Or JB. Oh, go ahead.
I'm trying to understand the calling thing. Are the people able to listen to us because their RBN account is muted?
Okay, so let me go.
I'm gonna unmute
myself
myself on call, but I can hear myself.
So Josana, mute your mic on
Here.
YouTube. Leave
Okay.
mute your mic here. Go ahead and mute it. Now unmute on call in and talk. Now talk.
Hi everyone.
Right. You see how we can still hear you on YouTube, but it's through call-in. So if you want to talk to the people, you can do it we can do it this way. And it works out, I think.
So the people that are in the thumbnail, I think that's how you say. Like, to be quite honest, I don't even know most of them. And I don't know because I don't care about that. They are part of what us as world learned as the fake left to co-opt, except by for the philosopher. They are part of what us as Noam Chomsky. Because he was actually the only American person that was going to.
Yeah, her audio. The audio is the only problem is the audio is low now.
Her audio is real low, you said? Okay.
Yeah, we having a hard time hearing her.
Okay, well, let's see. Maybe unmute your mic on YouTube and let's see. Is it an echo for anybody when you do it this way?
Is there an echo when I do this way?
I don't have an echo. Okay, then let's do it this way.
But it's okay, but I don't know why.
Okay.
So the Noam Chomsky was the only American that used to come to the World Social Summit, which is what we were doing before, getting together as a bloc to defeat imperialism. not just South America. There were people from Europe, there were people from Africa, there were people from Asia, but the only American that would come, only American, no, only USian that would come is Noam Chomsky. That says a lot about the US left. If you have a worldly leftist movement organizing and happening, and you are not, and you are notified about it and invited, and you are not part of it, you are showing who you are. Marianne Wilson, man, oh gosh, I hate that bitch. Like, you know what I hate the most is the fact that people in the US play with other people's emotions and beliefs and spirituality. They use everything they can do to make money off of it. Rome, don't call me in the middle of the stream. Rome's calling me.
He said he's on
Anyway,
his way. I don't know what's going on.
get your
Go
ass
ahead. Go
into
ahead.
the stream now. Rome.
Yeah, he said he'll be here in the text. Okay.
Okay. But anyways, so the way that she would write about like everything you want, you just pray and you just sit there and think really hard, and you get it. Damn. And I mean, she's still doing it. And I understand and get the frustration for people that y'all grew up or are here seen as progressives. I kind of hate that name. Um, everything that every single leader that you had is like going into shambles because for some reason, for some divine reason, this moment is being a big mask off for the Democrats, and I love it. I'm here for that. So yeah, radical leftist agenda. Let's light some candles, and maybe we will be able to pay for our healthcare, right? So yeah, I will pass the word because I got a little confused.
Absolutely. And JB.
You're muted, JB.
My apologies. So, as far as a lot of the people that are basically part of this managerial left type of sphere, one thing in Sabby talks about this a lot is follow the money. The thing is that a lot of the people who are part of this are people who are okay financially. They are, as they said, a lot of times on Rising, they're called the PMC, the professional managerial class. So basically, there were people who are living in the suburbs. They are financially okay. They are people who don't have a sense of urgency because there's nothing urgent for them. And so because of that, you have them saying, well, let's just push for more progressives. And then maybe in a few years, after a few cycles, then we can actually get the things that we want. And then you have people who are like us. And then the people like us who are sitting here suffering, like I explained to people like Jordan Sheridan, is that we're suffering in real time as we speak. And so we don't have the time to divulge to just standing in line on a Tuesday, waiting to get our Scantron sheet to bubble it in, and then to wait for someone, and then to hope and cross our fingers that they will actually do what they said they will promise once they get into office. We don't have time. What's going on is the landlord is not going to wait for us to get that vote in and make sure that we get the things that we need materially. The electric company is not going to wait. The grocery store is not going to wait. The schools aren't going to wait. The colleges aren't going to wait. The police sure as hell ain't going to wait. So what about now? And the thing is, that's what we have been focusing on the now. Because every single time we tried to say something, it's just wait a little bit longer, wait a bit longer, wait a bit longer.
Right.
And the thing is that every single time they told us this, they have been telling us this for forever. That's like going on a road trip, right? And you know it's going to be a long ass road trip, but you keep telling the child in the back of the car, they're like, "Are we there yet?" And you keep telling them, even if we only started 10 minutes and we got 24 hours of driving to go, "Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there."
Uh-oh. Is he freezing?
He had a problem with his internet today.
Yeah, he told me too. When I
Am I
had
back?
mine, he's telling me. There
Am
he
I
goes.
back?
There he goes. There he goes.
Okay, I'm back. Jeez Louise. Damn you, CIA. So, but what? Okay, so basically, what I'm saying is this whole situation is like being in a car with a kid, and then you're going on a long ass trip, and you tell the kid that we're going to Disney World, and then as you're driving, the kid keeps asking, "Are we there yet?" And they only ask that 5-10 minutes later because we're waiting. We're like, "Are we there yet?" And you're like, "Oh, we're almost there, but we still got 24 hours of driving to go." Meanwhile, you're not driving to Disney World, all right? You're driving to Maine. And we're like, "Are we there yet?" "Oh, we're almost there." But you're not even going the direction that we want you to go. So it's like, so if we get pissed off and we find out that, number one, we've been far away for a long ass time, number one. Number two, you're not even going the direction that we want you to go. Can you blame us for being pissed off? Can you blame us for calling you a sellout? No, you can't blame us for that because you literally just showed us what you're really doing. You're in fact, you're not only showing it to us, you're texting it to us in our phone saying, "Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so ridiculous.
we got to codify Roe v. Wade into law." Motherfucker, you had 50 years to do it and you didn't do it. You showed your cards for the last 50 years. So, for people who are part of the managerial left, who are telling us that we just need to vote in more progressives, I need you to do this. Stop blaming us for looking at what has been going on and then judging by the history of what's been going on that we came to resolve to not do it anymore. And talk to the people whom you have so much reverence for. Talk to them because they're the reason why we are disaffected. They are the reason why we don't want to do this anymore. They're the reason why you have RBN talking about don't donate to them, donate to mutual aid, donate to direct action because they are ineffectual. Blame them for not taking the effect. We are not to blame. We're the ones who are trying to actually save ourselves. Don't tell me to sit there and stop pumping my own chest because the person standing next to me won't bother to do it. I'm going to pump my chest if you're not going to do it because, God damn it, I'm dying. That's all I got to say.
So we seeing general strikes and people uprising in other countries. Now it's funny to see general strike was trending. I saw a blue check shit libs, a few of them, big accounts that was like, yeah, now I think we need a general strike now because the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade. But I would be amiss to remind you guys who had a general strike summit last year, who was on the forefront. I remember CJ before even the days of RBN. I saw CJ's old videos. We were like, guys, we need a general strike right now. Like this is before RBN. I remember the old Populist Voices videos we used to do. We talk about general strike.
My bad, y'all.
Now,
I think my kids broke my damn laptop. I'm gonna be right back. I'm just letting y'all know I'm just right here trying to get this shit together.
Right
Why
on.
were you calling me?
Because I
now,
didn't see. I went on YouTube. YouTube did not say y'all was live.
Wow. See what they doing? You got to search. And
Well, I
you
was
follow
saying-
the account. It's crazy. Go ahead, Nick. But yeah, Rome, we cool. Just get back when you can.
yeah. So my point is, I'm glad to see some people in the streets. I'm glad to see drone strike is trending. But isn't it interesting how we get drone strike to trend? People are willing to hit the streets for something that would impact white suburbia as well. We all know how this will impact disenfranchised communities, but obviously this is something that directly impacts them. So now they're ready to hit the streets because of this. Not because the police that are killing unarmed black people, not the police killing 3 people per day, not civil asset forfeiture, not the kids that are still in cages, not the genocides that our government is funding. So I just think that's a very interesting dichotomy. And that's, remember the video of Sister Soldier that you played, CJ?
Yeah.
What you say? It's funny how white America, you guys are all outraged, you guys are mobilized when it comes to something that affects. You guys see how fast they're willing to do that. But we had
It's so funny because the example she gave was abortion too.
Yes. And we mentioned, like, yeah, maybe because of worker conditions, because of the fact that people are literally food insecure, people being kicked out of their homes, rents are becoming unaffordable. Maybe these are reasons why we should have general strikes. And shit lives like, oh, shut the fuck up. You guys are just clout chasing. All I gotta do is just vote blue. And now Roe v. Wade happened, and now people revolutionary spirits have been kicked in, which is good. I just want you guys to know this is just among one of many of the crimes of our states. We should have been in the streets when they took away our Fourth Amendment rights. People should be in the streets for over Julian Assange, Mumia. Like, these are people that should be sparking revolutionary thought. And even when I see people on the streets for Roe v. Wade, you know that shit's gonna be temporary. Let me show you guys this. And we talking about the managerial class. You guys want to know?
Just FYI, we have a caller.
Yeah, let me show you guys this. We get to the caller. We get to them. Because this fits into what we get to the callers here very soon. If we can get that to work, calling made me fucking nervous, guys. But I'm gonna show you guys the results.
We're trying it out.
Yeah,
See how
I'm gonna show you guys the results of the talking points of the managerial class. Look at this. This is, and it's fitting. This was on TRT though. Look at this.
What does that mean for you when it comes to the midterm elections and getting more Democrats elected to move forward with trying to codify Roe?
Well, when it comes down to the primaries, which I think are coming up in the next couple months, it means that we need to get as many people to the polls as possible to vote for more progressive Democrats. We need to get the old white Democrats out of office and put in new, younger people who will actually defend the rights of women and people all over this country. And then when it comes to midterms, we need to make sure that we have those same people who voted for the progressive people in the primaries coming back to the midterms and voting again, and making sure that these more progressive Democrats get into office and can actually make the change that we need.
What does that mean?
I watched that video. I watched that whole video, and she, in the beginning, she's making points, and I'm like, damn girl, there you go. And she started talking about we need to vote harder. Yeah. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, you freaking cop. Don't you all understand that that's how they do? People in the movement selling their ideas. I wish you had played the beginning of her speech. And then people will understand I'm not crazy when I say these things.
Yeah,
because she's talking like us in the beginning.
We played a clip yesterday on Nick and CJ of some girl like, should I blame the Democrat Party? And then she's like, well, I still got to vote blue. And I'm showing that because that's an even more intense version. She's not even doing the brainwashing. Like, she's not even doing the criticism part. She's like, all right, this crazy thing happened. We got to get more progressives. We got to elect more Democrats. You see how people just been trained to think this way? Do you guys understand how crazy this sounds? We already did that. We already did it.
Those people think that's the way to go because the managerial class is telling them that's the way to go.
Yeah.
That is the problem. They are the ones that's thinking that. And let me read this part I had written down. This is the reason why I thought this topic when I initially pitched this topic, and it's we have to shift the proletariat away from listening to the managerial class. That's why this is important to keep kind of hitting the topic. Like, we have to keep talking about the Davis Arotas, keep talking about the Marion Williamson, keeps talking about the Robert Welch or however you say his name, and Tom Hartman and so on, and everybody have the people that they know. The vast majority of the white left media, I would say, is the managerial class. But think about this from a Marxist perspective. Think about this. We have a proletariat. Do you think Marxist thought in his when he's envisioning what we now call communism or the proletariat? Did he ever envision the proletariat being led by the managerial class? The managerial class, and understand the managerial. Who is the manager? When you go somewhere, what is the manager there to do? The manager is there to represent the owner.
Is someone white?
Right, or that, yeah, that too. So that's what the manager is there, and it's sort of the managerial class, because, and this is a tweet I'll bring up. I'll bring that up now, because the managerial class, the reason they're called the managerial class is because they've been kind of educated in the same sort of Ivy League way as the ruling class. They go to the sort of same school.
CJ, can I pass right? CJ, can I pass right back to you? I just want to add just what you guys saying. You guys realize that Marx wrote about class antagonism. Like, look up his writings on this. Well, he writes how the differences between the class cannot be reconciled. That was the big part of what he was writing about. These class differences cannot be reconciled through a bourgeoisie system. He is telling you guys, if you have a Marianne Williamson, that class difference between you and Marianne Williamson will not be reconciled through a bourgeoisie system. I just want to add that content.
And that is exactly that's great. That's great. I'm glad you interrupt me, because I was going to move off the Marxist point, but that's great. Let's bring it back to this. Because that's exactly, Nick, what the managerial class is asking us to do. They're selling us on saying, hey, yes, you forget about the other people in your class, those white racists. Forget about them. Team up with us. Team up with us, the managerial class, the same people, educated in the same Ivy League schools as the ruling class. Team up with us, and we're going to help you get the things that you want. Forget all that liberation. Forget all about stopping the bombs on black and brown people. Not that part, but we'll get you some health care here. We'll get you a $15 minimum wage in 10 years. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're not selling us on the thing on total liberation.
It's the same way that Marianne.
Yes, go ahead.
It's the same way that Marianne would like be on our side on some issues, but she won't like harshly call out U.S. imperialism. Like she would repeat the Afghan women lie regarding staying in Afghanistan. She repeats nonsense Zionist talking points like Israel has the right to defend itself. Like there's this something they can't let go. That's why you see Bernie Sanders and these progressives, they still go along with the Ukraine war. they still go along with the Heroes Act, the CARES Act. They still praising Joe Biden and Democratic Party. They're just the class solidarity is so strong. But sorry, CJ, I just want to add that part too. But
no, I was done making that point. But the reason I think, just to further another point, but the reason I think, and let's bring JB in here. The reason I think it is so crucial for networks like us and for people like us to keep saying, hey, proletariat, stop listening to them. We have to keep reiterating that. Otherwise, we get people like the video you show, where she's able to analyze what's happening up until a certain point. But she still has because the people she's listening to is still telling her the Democratic Party is how you're going to fix all those problems, when we all know your abortion rights, the Roe versus Wade, that is by way of the Democratic Party. How is somebody going to tell you, hey, we have a plan to delegitimize that law and make that unconstitutional, and they've been actively working at it for 50 years, and you just get abruptly, this lands in your lap, like shockingly. You got a shock of 50 years? Like, I've never heard of being warned for 50 years and you're shocked. It's weird. And you're still saying to go back to the Democratic Party. It's just beyond weird. But your thoughts, JB?
So, you know what? I'm going to defer to Chris Hedges, actually, because he actually makes a lot of sense in this. Let me go to this.
And we also got to ask you about your interview today, because
Oh
it ties
yeah.
into, it ties into this too, because some of the
Oh,
conversation kind of overlaps this too.
definitely. So here's what Chris Hedges said, and he talks about it's an article in his Substack called "Fascists in Our Midst." And this actually refers to the professional managerial class. Now, mind you, that Chris Hedges is also an academic as well, but he gets it. So it starts off with, in this paragraph, he says most of those tasked with reporting on and interpreting history, social movements, and religious beliefs have failed us. They spoke about the past, vowing never again, but refused to use the lessons of the past to explain the present. It was not ignorance, it was cowardice. To confront the Christian fascists, even in universities, meant career canceling accusations of religious bigotry and intolerance. It meant credible threats of violence from conspiracy theorists who believed that they were called by God to murder abortion providers, Muslims, and secular humanists. It was easier, as many academics did in Weimar Germany, to believe that the fascists did not mean what they said. That they were strains within the movement that could be reasoned with. That opening channels of dialogue and communication could see the fascists domesticated. That if in the power, the fascists would not act in their extremist and violent rhetoric. With few exceptions, German academics did not protest the Nazi assumption of power and the wholesale dismissal of their liberal, socialist, and Jewish colleagues. They turned a blind eye to what was going on. And exactly the way it happened back in Weimar Germany with the Nazis, and remind you that the Nazis only had around a 35% approval rating. People in Germany did not like Nazis even back then. But because they blinders, earmuffs, they were like, you know what? No, we're not going to look at it, and we're going to just keep voting blue, right? And then there was this uptick, this uprise, where you now, and I'm going to say this, and people are going to get mad, but it's whatever, okay? You have these jokers who perverted Christianity into a means to put people as servants up under capitalistic structures in order to make them be compliant and obey. They basically took Christianity and replaced God with themselves. And that's what it is all about. So they perverted Christianity so much that they're using it to their own ends to dominate a country by means of whatever they can. So it's not actually about people who are devoted to God. That's not what this is about. It's about using religion as a cudgel in order to put people up under them and to make sure that you do not disobey the masters, which are the capitalists, the oppressors, for their own ends. So, yeah, they are a bunch of heretics. They are a bunch of blasphemers if you are a Christian. If you're not, they're just a bunch of fuckwads. Whatever. But it's the same thing.
There is.
You said there's a caller, Josana? Is that what you were about to say?
I want JB to finish his thought.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I want him to finish.
I'm pretty much done. I'm just saying that there was they're using that, and then on top of it, the professional managerial class is basically saying that all we have to do is do these small little things. It's like, no, when it comes to fascism, it's like finding a bed bug in your house. You don't just kill one and say, oh yeah, it's done. No. You have to go all out. It's like finding a termite in your house. You have to go all out and make sure you are done. You exterminate every vestige of it. And the thing is that they kept saying, oh, well, it's not that serious. It's not that bad. And they let this cancer fester within the body of the United States. And because of that, now they're going to sit there and wonder, well, why are we ending up like Nazi Germany? I just didn't see it happening. It's been happening. Y'all were just too cowardly to actually pay to give it attention because you guys were afraid that you were going to lose your income stream.
Fire.
There is a book from, I know we have to take that color, but there is a book from
sorry. I
Jung,
thought you were
Carl Jung, where he makes the comparison with, like, he was actually criticizing the USSR, of course, white European, right? But he makes a very good point where he says there are some places where they substitute the religion with the state, because he's talking about the men of the masses and saying that if you do not question, you are just the man of the masses. And what's the mass? The mass is what is pushed around. You can have an abortion, you cannot have an abortion, you can have this, you cannot have that anymore, and then you just keep on living. You don't question, you just keep going. You do whatever television tells you to do, right? You do whatever the corporate news outlet media tells you to do. And he says, like, and when he makes this comparison, then he goes to a third comparison, which JB just explained really well here, where the state learns the power of religion and then co-opts it and becomes the religion. That being the most dangerous one. The third stage, which is like, I think that's where we are. Are we going to be able to get Ivan? I think Ivan. I don't know how to say that anymore.
We can try it. Let's try it. Let's try it and let's see how it goes. I mean, that's all we can do. Since it's only one person, if it doesn't work, we can just kind of close it down. So let's try it. I guess am I the one that have to unmute him? Let me see.
Yeah, so who is the RBN account?
I think I'm logged. I think I am. Because I was talking before. Let me start talking. Let me unmute it and see if it's me. Oh, got a second here. Oh, this is what you press. Testing.
Yeah,
okay.
It's you.
Okay, so I think you can hear me.
Let's unmute
Ivan.
How do I bring up Ivan? Make next
caller?
Is that what I press?
Yeah, that's where you press. Next caller.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So now Ivan has to unmute himself. He unmutes himself. The caller.
He has to unmute himself. Okay.
All right.
Ivan, we're doing this on the fly. Sorry, you know that it's kind of
no steps. CJ, you gotta make sure we got your echo.
So, can you hear me through YouTube though?
Yes. Okay. Just mute yourself on calling.
I have my phone, so I can only use one app at the time.
No, you're fine. Use. I'm not talking to you, Ivan. I'm sorry. I was directing that to Nick and to the RBN members. Sorry. So, Ivan, we finally have you here. So, what is your question, or what did you have what was your statement, sir?
Yeah, like basically, I was, what is the stance? Because I'm seeing on Twitter today a lot about January 6th, and I'm just thinking, if the United States is gonna have a revolution, it's not gonna be singing kumbaya and getting power back to the people. The people that have power now, they use the police, they use power, they use coercion. So you cannot take that peacefully. So if these liberals like Vosh and stuff like that, TYT, they say, "Oh, this is a violent insurrection." What they're gonna say when people that have a socialist view do the same thing? It's gonna be 10 times more violent. It's not gonna be singing. It's not gonna be being peaceful. So what's the how is RBN taking that? When giving the message that this is not gonna be a peaceful thing. This is gonna be something that has to be done with power.
I mean,
absolutely. I'm gonna thank you for the question. I'm gonna let unless somebody wanted to just make sure Rome answers. I know he wants gonna chime in on that question. So I think that's Nick talking first. So
let's get Rome. Yeah, we can do Rome first.
This is one of the main things that we talk on, even if we don't touch on it as much as we should. We always let you guys know that you will get your hands dirty, if not bloody. Things happen what I'm saying, during movements like this, and we're gonna have to have some type of some type of military ourselves. We're gonna have to have people on the front lines, back lines, computers, pushing propaganda, this and that, making sure that our words get heard, making sure that we get lawyers or medical care and shit like that. But you're not gonna get it on the internet. You're gonna have to connect with your you can build a platform on the internet, but even if what I'm saying, you are famous on the internet, you still can be just some nigga in the hood, right? So what you want to do is you want to get your neighborhoods together, talk to the people, then you build whatever clique, militia group that you want, and these are the people that you're going to lead. You're going to lead with to fight against your local governments and whatnot. And this is what we should be doing. Everybody fight for what you need in that state, in that city, that town, et cetera, et cetera. When we come together, when we're doing it, if we do it like this, it all can fall down like dominoes and whatnot, because we are targeting, legislators, city reps, mayors, et cetera, and we're going down that line of power and letting these people know that they are they are next in line to go. But we gotta you gotta be smart about this. Of course, we gotta have strategies. You gotta have people that's ready to go, ready to die, get locked up, et cetera, et cetera. The people who don't tell you these things, of course, they're gonna be against us when we leading people on the ground. Like I know CJ is gonna be leading gun movement pretty soon. CJ and Nick is gonna be leading some gun movements. I'm getting the care party together and whatnot. Basically, a militia. They're going to be the same people against us because they was put in this place that they are in right now to keep you in place. They don't want you guys actually fighting. They can see and disagree with the police beating your head in on the streets, but they will never tell you how to fight the police, right? Like I was just explaining how to fight the police. On my last stream that I did on the Roe v. Wade chat, you guys don't have to go out there and literally lose your life to the police. There are people that control the police. You fight them. You fight power where it is held, and that's how you get around actual fighting police officers on the ground. We don't want that because you guys don't have the heart, the balls, or the weaponry. And if you do, you ain't gonna bring it out because a lot of you want to test the water first. You want to dip your toes in the revolution before you go head on, before you just dive into this shit. So we gotta it can be bloody. It's gonna be bloody, of course. Every revolution was that was successful, but we're gonna be smart about this. So I say, it's not about being out here. I know everybody when they think of revolution, they think of people on the ground shooting and everybody getting killed and ran up in their house and whatnot. But no, this can be a controlled demolition if we actually come together with strategies and plans on who needs to go next, who has the most power, who run your city, who poisons your waters, et cetera, et cetera. We send those messages to the powerful, then they're gonna know, But you can go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, and I want to say something regarding the liberal class melting down about January 6th. What do you guys think it looks like when you guys support color revolutions in places like Cuba? Remember that big color revolution they trying to support? They trying to support this violent uprising over Cuba that had no support of the proletariat. It was just a bunch of CIA ops that found some right-wing members of the opposition party, and they were like, "Yeah, let's have this revolution." And they said Cuba is a authoritarian fascist government for not recognizing their attempt to overthrow their government. Look at the Democratic Party position of supporting Juan Guaido in Venezuela. And then you had the old regime in Colombia. You have Bolsonaro, which the U.S. supports, which launches terrorist attacks into Venezuela. But then liberals, after supporting the party in power that support these violent attacks on the democracies of other countries, they then want to turn around and say, "Oh my God, the January 6th coups, where a bunch of drunk rednecks had like a tour It was a joke. The cops literally let them in. This whole thing was was planned, and the Capitol Police let them in compared to what they would do to left protesters and activists. It's a joke compared to what other countries gone through, like in Ukraine, for example, when we support the coup of their government. You guys want to look at January 6th, where I think like one of the few people that they're like, oh my God, look at all these people that died at January 6th. A lot of these motherfuckers died like by suicide. One dude had like a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then the other motherfucker person, and then one person was a protester who got like killed by a cop. So I'm like, aren't you supposed to be against that person? And they were like, look, it was like a joke or a protest, but they trying to drag it out because they didn't get votes. So when you look at January 6th through a revolutionary lens, like anyone who like focused on this and think it was anything other than just a bunch of rednecks throwing a temper tantrum because Donald Trump lost. That's all it was. Like it was literally nothing. Like whenever I hear people say our democracy was in danger, they're the biggest clowns of politics.
What politicians were in danger? What?
AOC was like, I still remember that.
They said we're about to burn this bitch.
Well,
AOC was like, I still remember that day. Like it was yesterday. Even though she wasn't even in the building.
Go ahead, JB.
So even if we go by the premise that their lives were in danger, let's remember the police let them in.
Yes.
So therefore, and they still gave money to the Capitol Police. That being said, you rewarded the people who put you in danger. And so that whole point is moot now. But if I may, I want to in response to the caller, I just want to share my screen really quick so you guys will see what I see. And this is a quote, and I quoted many times before, but people need to see it. This is a quote by John F. Kennedy, President Kennedy, before he was killed by the CIA. Anyways, I digress. So he said, those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. With that being said, right, the opportunity for peaceful revolution is gone. It is taken out because they left us no other recourse. Now, the thing is what people like Rome is talking about self-defense, defending ourselves from the oppression of people who would rather oppress us either to our demise or to involuntary servitude, aka slavery, so that we can give them everything and we receive nothing. And we're basically saying, and I will say this in the spirit of Rome, fuck that shit, right? And so that's basically what we're saying now.
Right.
And so it's basically revolution is a means of survival and self-defense. And so basically that's what it's about. And so a lot of people are now going to have to come to the realization that we have to use self-defense in order to give ourselves an actual future. Look at the people who are protesting now because of Roe v. Wade. You have people getting their head bashed in just like they did during the Black Lives Matter protests. Now they're starting to see a pattern. Every single time you try to go up against the powers that be, next thing you know, their goons try to bash your heads in. That tells you something. So now people are waking up even more. And what I said in the tweet, I said, if people now are saying that we need to start organizing and getting these systems up, these what's it called? Dual power up. If we're trying to do that, then we need, if they're talking about that, then we need to co-opt these and lead them to get to a point where we have specific, distinct demands and then carry them out.
I got a question for everybody, the panel and the comments. Name one peaceful revolution. Name a time in a
Before
place
we ask that question, I would like to chime in.
Even people like
she wants to chime in about the previous part before we get that.
Before we answer that question, I would like to chime in because I would like to ask um, people in the chat or in the panel or in this country or wherever, what is violence? Because every day people are assassinated by your police. Every day your government is telling you to not leave your home. Every month they take money away from your checks. Every week they give you no health care. So what is violence? Am I peaceful enough for you talking like that? Or am I too aggressive because this is the figure of the Black woman, the too aggressive person? What is violence? Isn't violence separating a child from their mother, like they do in the border, and then put the child in a cage so the child can be both? If they are white passing, adopt by rich families. Second, if they are not white passing, raped by billionaires. What is violence? Is it violence invading other countries and throwing bombs on children's houses? Is it violence imposing sanctions and not letting me eat because my country cannot trade anymore? What is violence? Us doing our duty as citizens and going to the streets to demand the change? What is violence? It's a rhetorical question, by the way.
I'm glad you said that because these motherfuckers swear that us targeting somebody who has the power to take out millions of people in generations is violence. They swear that if I'm talking like, okay, one person, two people stop these people, we take these. They're like, hold on, Ron, you won't do us any good like that. How won't I do you any good? They about to write this bill Friday. We got plans to stop them Thursday. Don't that help millions of people? Oh, well, they can just go on and go and do it. No, they're not. No, they're not. And that's what we're trying to stop right now. If you guys want to stop it, let's stop it. But if you want to go viral, you want to be famous, you want to be a podcast or whatever, we can get on the microphone and talk about it all damn day. We can even go out here and hold up some signs. We can even get our skulls cracked out here in the streets and just report it back and get clout for it. That ain't gonna change a damn thing. They still show me pictures of my grandfather getting his ass beat by the police. That don't. And you guys are still out there getting your ass beat by the police. Why are you guys going with the same strategy? Knowing that this is what they want. Every time you guys go out into the fucking streets, you help white supremacy. Now, I'm not saying that you haven't helped the people realize what's going on in the ground. Yes, you have radicalized a lot of people, but what is the use of you radicalizing people, putting more people on the ground if you are leaving them defenseless on the ground? What is the point? Where are you going with this? Are you setting us up? Are you really with us? Because we are seeing every time. Even I'm not even going to go back to the fucking to the 60s. Let's do the 2000s, early 2000s to right now. Every time you guys got out there, you funded white supremacy. You scared the politicians enough to make them give more money, have a reason to give more money to the people that bust your head in. They put more money into the police, put more money into the police. Every time, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, more money into the police. Find another strategy. This one isn't working. And all you're doing is arming our enemies even more and making our job harder as revolutionaries. If you're going to go out there ready to risk it all, be ready to risk it all. Right? So if they throw a right, you throw a left and an uppercut. Don't just sit there getting hit like some fucking... What's wrong with you guys? Fuck.
Or sit there and get heat and let the people film and let the world see what the US does to its citizens. You do not need to be a superhero in order to go demand your rights. If all you can do is sit there, and to be quite honest, guy, that's most what I do. I'm sitting there and they are like shooting me with the rubber bullets and gassing me, and I just stay there. You don't need to be that guy on the video of Colombian doing this and like... There are people, there are that. But it's important to know that you do not need to be that person. Otherwise, we're not going to leave our homes. You can sit there and be beaten up. You can even run away when the cops come. You have the right to do whatever you want. Just please do. Please do. We don't need to be a superhero. I don't need to like take this open and fly out the window. I wish I had that power, but none of us have. But we have a way bigger power than that. Because the moment the Democrats decided to take their mask off, they funded the police more. I wish I could be understood. What I'm trying to say is like they are showing you guys who they are, and they go and they fund the police more because they know that in any other culture they will be addressed. They will suffer the consequences of being what they are. And I had put the Brenda's I think it's Brenda, her name, Brenda's comment about overthrowing Zionism is to free Palestine. Actually, overthrowing Zionism is to free the world. That's why I'm so caught up in the words, because I language is also my job, right? That's why I speak so many. So when I know Americans are really caught up in details, and I know Nazism is one thing in the roots, Zionism is another thing. Guys, this is the Nazi fascist movement of the 21st century. And we are up against Zionists everywhere. And what I'm trying to say is, we know our enemy. We need to understand that the fight that we are facing in the US is not only for the USians, it's for the world. And the day USians, and I'm using T's word for calling people from the US, the day USians learn that they are fighting a fight that's for the world, then you will have decolonized your minds. Then you will have freed your minds from imperialism, because you're not going to be only thinking about yourself and your house and your mortgage and your student loan debt and your lack of healthcare. You'll be thinking of the globe. Because once we defeat the empire in their house, we're free, pretty much.
Can I share this picture that I saw earlier, and you guys, I cracked up over it. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is a dog whistle if I haven't heard one. And CJ, you're in LA. Look, this says, Colin, is California ready for more black people to legal carry guns in public? Let me ask y'all something. Why is this problematic? Because the thing is it's like, wait a minute. So basically they're asking, why is it okay for black people to display the same Second Amendment rights that white people do? Why is it okay? Why is that an opinion column? Why is that even a question that needs to be asked? Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? That's really just a dog whistle if I haven't seen one. And so anybody who is for liberation, like the moment we try to liberate ourselves, stuff like this comes out. You'll have people like what's his face? Ronald Reagan, when he was governor of California, implement gun control as soon as he found out that the Panthers were protecting their neighborhoods with rifles instead of, letting the police come in and run them.
And when they couldn't get their hands out of some blacks, Bloods, Crips, they came at us with drugs, money, and capitalism, and divided our tribes even more, and had us going after each other for fucking territory.
Yeah.
So I read that article, and it says it's showing how it was black legislators that actually rushed to get California and New York the control Is JB very mad at me? And he left the stream.
No, I'm just grabbing something for reference to back up you
And they
and Rome's point.
and that's why now it was right after Roe v. that like New York and California now everybody can carry a gun. You can carry a gun, like it's something that's liberated now. And the man that wrote the article is his black, and I think he's the person that was pushing for it. It's saying why the black legislators actually pushed for that very quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let me play the video to JB's point about when the Black Panthers decided to exercise their rights, how that became no longer a right they can extend to everybody, because if it means black people get it, that means nobody gets it. And that's essentially what's happening with healthcare too.
No one wants to touch Emmett Hunter, but we've got to protect society from nuts with guns.
When bands of armed people with loaded weapons can move about our streets, intimidating and frightening citizens, then I think we should act, and we intend to act.
Now, what exactly is intimidating? Is that a black person is holding a weapon that's guaranteed to him or her or the person by the Constitution? Is it, I mean, just all in the framing of how he's talking, like, oh, if you're out, where nobody wants to touch the person with a hunter, who he's describing? Who is he describing when he says no one wants to touch a hunter? But if you're out, listen, here's the guy again. Let's listen to this.
Nuts with guns.
When bands of armed people with loaded weapons can move about our streets, intimidating and frightening citizens, then I think we should act, and we intend to act.
Bands of loaded guns, just because they're black? Would you tell me this? I'll ask this to everybody and pass it back to the... If you went to somebody, if you was a bully and you bust somebody up in the jaw and beat them down, would you be fearful if you saw them a few days later with a gun, exercising their rights? Do you see the point? It's the same point of the fear that cops have when they have the artillery and they're killing people, and you're telling me you're afraid.
Yeah.
Right? It's the criminalization of black people. It's so many things wrapped up in just the idea of a black person holding a gun breeds fear in you. We're not being aggressive. You're being fearful because you know what has happened to us.
Yeah.
You're being fearful because you know if they were to use those guns on you, they would be justified.
They scared of black revenge, and black people don't want revenge is what they are showing right now, because if black people wanted revenge, they would have ran up in that building and took out some of the people that was in power. They were trying their best to negotiate while exercising their rights that was, written for Americans, but at the same time showing strength. But like you said, these bullies, they think that they can just get away with the shit. Like, no, all right, well, I'm gonna team up. We're gonna team up, we're gonna arm up, and then we're gonna see if your police officers actually going to go toe to toe again.
But to your point, and bringing it back to Ivan's question and to the entire topic, and then I'll give it to you, JB.
Mm-hmm.
The point of what Ivan is saying is, how is the managerial left leading the left in the United States when you're fearful of January 6th? This is what the revolution is going to look like, what you see on the screen. So the point I think Ivan was making is that how are you, the managerial left, who was afraid of January 6th, going to lead a revolution that looks like this? How?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the point, and that's the point that I wanted to make also.
Yeah, that's why
about the managerial class. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll pass it to JB. I know you want to chime in too, but that's why whenever you hear the conservatives and guys, you gotta understand, I'm pro-gun too. I'm Marxist, but how they describe our country does not make sense when they say, and you can tell that there's like two different kinds of societies: the one for the upper class, white bourgeoisie, then the rest of us. When they say we have a Second Amendment to oppose a tyrannical government, like my response is like we always have a tyrannical government, and then if anyone were to oppose them, you wouldn't be quoting, "Oh, well, they got a Second Amendment right." These amendments and these rights do not exist in this country. They only do for the top caste in this system, in this society. It's not us. But JB, I know you want to chime in. I'm gonna give you the chance to go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought this up because look, here you go. Dirty Truths by Michael Parenti. I'm going to read a paragraph really quick, and this is actually going to make so much sense. It's going to blow your minds. Are you ready? Are you ready? Nick, I know you're anticipating this. So here's the point. All right. He said, members of various African American and Latino groups, such as the Young Lords, the Black Panthers, the Brown Berets, Black Men Against Crack, and the Crips and Bloods, after these gangs became politicized, can testify that when they were involved in crime, they had less trouble from the police than when they became politically mobilized against drugs, police brutality, and exploitative social relations within the inner city communities. So they actually, when they were actually fighting for actual liberation, they faced more oppression from the government than when they were just trying to protect their block or trying to secure the bag when it comes to drugs. So what does that tell you? It is actually more dangerous for you, according to them, you're more of a threat to the power establishment when you're trying to do these things. Why? Because you are a threat to their power. Because you are a threat to them, to ending the oppression. And that's one of the things that was covered, in this book. And so, yeah.
I love this because they be, you know what I'm saying? They be trying to get us to like the organizers and whatnot. Some organizers that's within these government parties and whatnot, they always tell me to stay away from these. I'm like, don't y'all want the gangbangers? Y'all don't want.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's what I lead with. I go into gang territory all the time and I talk to my people, whether they be from a different set or not.
Think, Rome, when you were here, we had this conversation. We like the people we want on the battlefield are the gang members, are the people in prison. Those are the ones that's gonna be like, this shit is life or death for me.
Prisoners.
This shit, I'm taking that. That's the shit. That's what you want. Like, so.
I always tell my people like their killers get badges and ranks, but we get prison time. I don't look at it like I know, you know what I'm saying. A killer is it's a necessary thing to have, in any fight, But we got to learn how to aim our guns, and that's the main problem with our community. We still got that individual mindset and whatnot. We got to, basically tell our people like, look, you wasting ammunition. There's bigger targets out here.
Right. Somebody wanted to chime in before we move to the next thing here. I think
no,
just, I mean, we can
need your help when I have to put my articles up.
Absolutely. I think all of us can. Yeah, I think all of us have access to that. Just one last thing here. Well, I don't know if it's the last thing because some of you may want to chime in after I show this. So I did want to just kind of give people a chance. Is it this one? Let me see if this is the right one here. So this is my tweet here. I wanted to read it and maybe read a couple comments. So the tweet says the managerial class on the left has been completely destructive for the proletariat. Now pause there. Just think, just a rhetorical question. Think, what good advice have they given that helps specifically the proletariat? Just think about that. Back to the tweet. The managerial class is to the proletariat what white liberals are to the black community. So if we remember what MLK and Malcolm X talks about, how the white moderate is there, or the white liberal is there really to tamp back, to stop any further progression of the black community. And in this case, it feels like the managerial class never are able to come up with an option that says revolution. That never is never part of their repertoire of options. It's just we got this electoral, and that's it. All of the advice given to the proletariat by the managerial class has been 100% wrong. 100% wrong. And let me play this video, this audio actually from Noam Chomsky, that kind of speaks to the point, and it speaks to the point of how, like his advice, and how he was describing this event between voting between Joe Biden and Trump. Not to say that we should be saying vote for Trump, but to be pushing Joe Biden instead of avenues of real liberation for people who won't be helped by electing Joe Biden. Like he's just decided to say, hey, I given up on helping those people, so let's go ahead and vote for Joe Biden. Like he's making that decision, and a lot of the managerial class are fine with leaving those people out. It's like you're already out in the cold, so what's a few more years of not letting you in? Is how I view they look at it. But listen to Noam Chomsky being used for this propaganda to sell Joe Biden.
Another 4 years of Trump may literally lead us to the stage where the survival of organized human society is deeply imperiled.
Where organized civilized society is deeply imperiled. Just to me, off that first comment, does he not think that the Palestinian kids that are being bombed, does he think their lives are deep peril right now? Like, does he not count those people in Yemen? Does he not count the starving kids in Afghanistan who are receiving this treatment even under a Joe Biden administration? So I'm pointing this out to say that yes, he's able to give great analysis, but the way he allowed himself to be used, the managerial class, to hurt the working class, to scare the working class up, to hurt them back, to vote for the same imperialist powers that's not going to do anything for them.
The most important issue that humans have faced in their history is the impending catastrophic climate disaster.
According to a new report, experts say that we have until 2030 to avoid catastrophe.
Trump is the worst.
Biden is the climate president. Did you want to say something, Nick? Go ahead.
I didn't know this was the video where he actually said it, but I was like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? Is he going to say the line? Climate change is why we must oppose Donald Trump, even though Joe Biden doubled down on all of Donald Trump's climate policies. Whoops.
Even though Joe Biden is throwing a war, and we all know the war is military, is the biggest polluter of the fucking world.
Right.
Yes, that's a giant miss. Right. Like, is that like a miss that we ever gonna go back to? Like, hey, no, can you explain this? Take care that how.
Now again, none of us are saying he should have went out and did the same video for Trump. We're saying both of them are terrible and both of them are imperialists, and we should be directing the proletariat to some other way. That's what I'm saying. Not to continue the same sale. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I agree. Imagine if one of us or anyone was like, yeah, technically, I think Donald Trump is the climate president. Like, that's ridiculous. That statement is as factual as saying that Biden the climate candidate over Donald Trump, because they're doing the same thing. So why is it okay for even me just saying that made me laugh? Like, the idea that Donald Trump is the climate candidate over Joe Biden. But why would anyone think the other statement is not just as batshit crazy, especially when you have Biden on the campaign trail? Not like they wasn't hiding it. He literally said they want to expand fracking. So it's not like he had a good climate plan and we knew he wasn't going to do it. His climate plan was ass, even when Noam Chomsky made this video. That is what was confusing to me. But go ahead, JB. I think you want to chime in.
Yes, I want to chime in. I'm going to make some people angry, particularly some social Dems. They're going to be very mad at me, but it's whatever. Noam Chomsky owes all of us an apology. He owes every single one of you an apology. Why? Because he pushed a blue Donald Trump on us. He was the one that said, oh, you have to vote for Joe Biden in order to get rid of Donald Trump. Where has that gotten us? Mr. Chomsky, we need an apology because you actually, being the sage advice, gave us the advice to go with someone who is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than Donald Trump. We're waiting for that apology.
Yeah, we can go back to the video.
Don't hold your breath, man. That nigga about to die, son.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we can go back to the video if you want, CJ.
Okay, yeah, let's finish out a little bit so we have a little more to comment. We can move to the next thing that we want to do.
Person in the world on this issue.
All of this with the global warming and that a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
So we have a choice between trying to find a way to survive or ensuring disaster.
See,
That's
and he
just
falls
the
for it.
beginning.
Pause it real quick, CJ. It won't be too long. And you see how they fall for it? The Republican Party is the party of saying the policies of the U.S. empire out loud. So when Donald Trump said it's a hoax, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, that is the policies of Joe Biden. That is the policies of the Democratic Party.
Right.
Whenever you see Tucker Carlson go on Fox News and he talk about the white replacement theory, that's them saying the policies of the U.S. empire out loud. Joe Biden legislates the idea of the white replacement theory the same way as Barack Obama, which is why he was the reporter in chief. So, and that's why it blows me away that Chomsky can't make that distinction. Even if the Democrats say the right thing, look at how they are legislating. This is not complex political theory. Look at the legislation, not what they say. How is this hard to understand? But CJ, go ahead.
It seems to be a blind spot, though. It seems to be a blind spot. Like, how does a lot of the managerial left, how does a lot of the white left infrastructure have this same blind spot? Like, how is that? That's my comment on that. Did you want to chime in?
I wanted to get a caller, and I want to call the order, like be the calling girl on the show.
All right, we can go back to
Let's take some callers.
We can take another call. Let
Okay.
me bring it back up on the screen. And
But
are
are
you
we
able
gonna
to put
get
them in the queue or
Zainab?
have? Okay.
No, I know
let's,
you have to make me a. I have to make
we
me
got
a
Zainab calling in?
Okay,
co-host.
I have to figure
Yes.
out how to do that. Okay, so let's
Just click
go.
on Zainab. Just click on Zainab, and then we go Tyler and Owen, because I'm assuming people's genders and putting women first.
Oh. All right, so I am going here. Next caller. And
Don't forget-
then now all you have to do is unmute yourself.
Zainab, unmute yourself.
Hey guys, can you hear me? It took me a second. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Thanks for being brave enough to try all this on YouTube and call in and everything. I know technical stuff takes a minute to work through. I wanted a little bit on the managerial class. We were talking about, and I think that CJ just said it now, are they blind to it? What is the deal? I think a lot of this boils down to generational wealth and generational poverty. And I'm not just talking about generational wealth, the millionaires and the billionaires. I'm talking about people I've worked with on the left that have a little bit of money, and their parents have money and they're going to be left a house and their college is paid for. And here they're telling me that incrementalism is okay. You know why? Because they are okay. There's a difference between generational wealth and poverty. When I look at my mom making $8.25 an hour doing elder care when she's 68 years old, no joke. When we look at our family that don't have healthcare, we don't have anything. I talk to these people, they have healthcare. Some of them have people that come in and clean their houses for them. They have, homes, 3-bedroom homes. They own property. They're out of touch. And they're telling me that incrementalism is okay. They're telling me that I can wait and I can play the political game. But it's not just the millionaires and billionaires. It's local generational poverty. It's global generational poverty for whole civilizations where we have more. Even the poorest of us have more than they have. But I think that that's the big divide. And that's why they can't see it, because they don't want to see it, because they don't have the same pain points. It's just the truth. And when we're talking about class solidarity and we're talking about building up on the left, we have to address this reality that the people that are calling for incrementalism are okay. They're comfortable. They don't have to worry about this. And I think that's where the divide is.
Yeah, is there anybody, is there like anybody that's living on the edge of life, like poverty, living, that's saying, "Hey guys, let's do some more incrementalism. Let's send $40 more billion." Like, is there anybody in the Jordan Downs housing projects out here in Watts? Is anybody there saying that? And so you make a great point.
Can we go ahead and get Tyler on?
Absolutely. Thank you for the call. Did you have anything, a follow-up that you wanted to ask before we move on?
Sorry.
Oh, Zainab, I was talking to you. Did you have a follow-up before I move on? I wanted to make sure you got all of your questions out. I think she did. Okay. All right. So you wanted to bring...
Just glad I was finally able to say that somewhere. It's been driving me nuts in the left spaces. So thank you.
No, absolutely. Awesome. All right. And we have Owen. Is that who we're bringing up next?
Okay, so
Owen.
Mute one of your mics, nigga.
Yeah, my bad. Gotta keep switching. Sorry.
What's up, y'all?
All right, so Owen, you are up. Everybody can hear you.
I appreciate y'all for everything that y'all do. I just wanted to add to Joe Simon's comment earlier about saying Americans will realize the importance of their country's revolution when they realize that it affects the rest of the world. And I personally believe that that may not be true, because the constant propaganda of America's individualism, I believe, scares its citizens into economic and ideological complacency. And I say that because if the truth that is contrary to mainstream media overwhelms in America, they are scared into complacency, because the erosion of community that has happened in the past 50 plus years has made U.S. citizens more confident in their individual rights rather than their own community's collective survival. And I just wanted to ask you guys the question, knowing that most PMCs use voting as an excuse to not be more part of their, or not be more part of, or and be accountable for their own communities, how much time should the country's minimum wage workers spend trying to convince liberal PMCs to lean further left and become class traders, because it may be...
Just a second, Owen. I can't hear you properly right now. I'm sorry if it's just me.
I heard the question. Did you hear the question, Nick and JB? And I was able to hear him completely fine. I was able to hear him completely fine.
Maybe because you were unmuted on YouTube.
I can ask it again.
Yeah. Can you ask it again?
And you mute yourself on YouTube, CJ, please. Go ahead, Owen.
Yeah, I'll ask the question again, of course. My apologies if it was my setup that messed everything up. But the question that I was asking was, knowing that most PMCs use voting as an excuse to not be more a part of and be accountable for their own communities, how much time should the country's minimum wage workers spend trying to convince these liberal PMCs to lean further left and become class traders?
Question for you, Owen. Can you translate to me PMC? I'm not from here, so I struggle with the...
It's the professional managerial class. So it's what we're talking about. Those people. It's just an acronym to means them. Go ahead.
Acronym. I struggle with acronyms because English is not my first language. So.
Yeah. Hey guys, I gotta head out. I gotta get ready for my call tonight. I'll let you guys. I'm gonna head out.
All right. So let me just repeat the question so that everybody, if you made it and hear it, as well is basically he's asking how long should minimum wage workers wait for the liberal PMCs, the managerial class. How long should we wait for the strategy that they're trying to execute? Is that essentially what the question is?
Well, I can answer this one.
I say 0 time. I say 0 seconds. I say 0 minutes. Like, I see Owen coming from a point when he said like it's not possible because the Americans are scared. And like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Americans need to wake up and like actually understand where they're coming from and stop waiting. Stop waiting. Stop trying to convince the other. You have to start acting so people can see change. People can see movement. Why were the marches in 2020 so successful? Because you had a specific account saying, today, protest, this time, this place. And people went. People were there, boom, marching. They were not like trying to convince their racist, and I'm talking about the white people that were supporting the marches. They were not trying to convince their racist parents that it was important to march because racism is killing Black people in the USA. They left the houses towards the street and marched. I seen with my bare eyes a NYPD car backing up, as I've seen the NYPD car rolling over people too. But they were there and they were not scared at all.
That's a great analogy, by the way. That's a great like you didn't wait to convince white people that of racism. You had to like so yeah, go ahead, JB.
Yeah, so the question means like how long do we have to wait for them to basically wise up to, instead of just voting, to actually wise up to actually doing direct action and actually getting out there. My answer is the same as Josana's. Look, they'll catch up. Go ahead, start walking. Because here's the thing. As we walk, they've already been born with roller skates on. They'll catch up. They got it. So let's just go. And if it takes them a while to catch up, then fine, they catch up. But the thing is that we're not going to sit here and wait. Because the thing is that we cannot wait for people who are going. We cannot wait for people who are okay. Like it's just like if somebody is older and slow, and they need to get someplace, and you're younger and more sprite and you're more fit and you can catch up, then all right, let them go before you. Let them keep going. You'll eventually catch up. The people who are the PMCs, they were born on third base, right? So if I start going on first base before that inning goes, well, they'll catch.
Look, I want to say this: they might not even catch up. The only reason why they might catch up is to stop us, because these people right now are benefiting off of off of what America is doing. Like people in the comments are going up about Sam Cedar living in one of the most gentrified neighborhoods in New York, and then sitting here telling people to don't be revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Don't question politicians, and whatever your motives of questioning politics. These people benefit. You know what I'm saying, from this genocidal state, but this is we got to be ready for them. They can't they're not going to fight with us. They're not going to fight with us now. They're not going to fight with us ever. Look, we have been losing our lives for generations. Like, we don't have to read any books to even know that. We just know that as Americans. It's fucked up, but hey, we got to be ready for them, because I don't see them actually in a revolution except on the other side that we have to fight. And that's why I be telling people like that, who have that mindset of, oh, now is not the time to fight. It's like, yeah. Everybody has a place in the revolution. Yours going to be on the wall, because you're going to be a scout for the for the masters, and I can see them selling out quicker than anybody else. I can see them selling out quicker than anybody else. They're going to be the first people to call our protest riots, call us hostile, and try to break down everything we are doing. We seen it. They did this even with the stuff that we were doing that wasn't even hostile, like a Medicare for All march or General Strike Summit. Why would they want you guys' lives to get better? They made their lives better off of your lives being shitty, off of you being down, you being on the streets. I always tell you guys, you being on the streets mean less views for them. That's less super chats. You know, you tune back into them like we used to do, like some people did Kyle Kalinske after coming back from the ground, like, oh well, this is just some bullshit now. What can I learn from you? What have you done that I haven't done? Like, you can't keep telling me what to do when I don't see you doing it yourself. Practice what you preach.
How is the same strategy? How is their same strategy? I just thought of this. How is their same strategy the same pre the first housing bubble collapse? During the housing bubble collapse is the same strategy. After the housing bubble collapse is the same strategy. During the pandemic is the same strategy. After the pandemic is the same strategy. Voting a progressive Democrat. How are you having the same strategy for different times? How is that possible? Does that make sense to you, Josetta?
I'm pointing to you just like somebody points at their favorite cousin at the cookout. I'm pointing to you right now because you just made some sense. You made a lot of sense, brother. Yeah, you brought the Big Mac and cheese, sense. And I'm just like, yeah.
Because they're telling us that this is what I'm saying. It's no sense. Not this is what I'm saying. This is what you've said, JB. Is like, it's no sense of urgency. There's no different plan because there's a different set of circumstances.
True.
Yeah, that's what I see. And I prepped your article, Josana. So as soon as we're done with this segment, it's ready to go. And I think we might be done with this segment, so maybe I can. So if anybody has any other last comments on the managerial left selling out the working class, I mean, the thing wonder, is, go ahead.
I wonder if the callers want to chime in because of that.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think we have one caller. I saw one. Oh, maybe he had another one added because Tyler I saw was the last one. Well, so let's get to Tyler. And then we'll go to that article here. So Tyler, you are on. Oops, my bad. Let me put it on screen here. Hang on a second.
I was about to say your microphone ain't echo yet.
There we go. All right, Tyler. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Tyler, go ahead.
Yes, Tyler, are you also watching on YouTube?
There you go. There you go.
No, I just want to make sure I can respond through YouTube and you can hear me because I'm going to mute the caller app. So go ahead.
I mostly just wanted to speak to maybe kind of like more so physical discipline of the left, especially right now with all the, Roe v. Wade protests going on there. You're seeing a ton of cops like beat the shit out of women and stuff. And I'm just wondering how the left can like see that happen and not like be engaged. And I think a part of that is just a failure, I kind of wish Nick Cruz was on because then I feel like he could maybe comment to this, but like, be training in some kind of, whether it be mixed martial art, folk wrestling, what have you. Because I feel like that kind of exposure definitely primes you and definitely conditions you to, be ready psychologically for those kinds of confrontations. And, outside of just showing up and being present, I don't really see the left being there 100%.
You're saying like you don't see like a preparation, like
engagement, against this fascist, capitalist state.
So you're saying like you don't see like a physical, like the left preparing physically for what we already see is happening to protesters.
Right, exactly. Like, if you never, if you never thrown a fist in your life, you never shot a gun in your life, I don't see the left being ready to do that, in the next couple of months, if the need require that. It just feels like there's total failure of organizationally on the left to kind of, whether it be through mutual aid or.
You got low all of a
Low all
sudden.
of a
Can't
sudden.
hear you
Can't
as
hear
well.
you as well.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
saying, sorry, I got my headphones in, I'm at the gym too, so it's kind of weird. But just saying that, you have people on the left that haven't thrown a punch in their life, that haven't shot a gun in their life, and they're out here really hitting these protests. And I don't think they're ready to actually do those things in the next couple of months, should the need arise. And I'm just wondering, what your guys' thoughts are on the vehicles to kind of train, each other up to the level that,
Tyler, we can't hear you properly because you are also live on YouTube, and if you have your phone on speakerphone to transmit and on YouTube, it gets harder. So the people that are just watching the show cannot hear you. It gets like very far away.
Well, let me just, because I can hear him because I'm also listening through through caller. So I know Tyler, you can hear me. So so he's basically he's saying like we are seeing what the police state is doing to people fighting back for their rights, and you even seeing what they're doing to some women. So he like, how are we preparing for that? Like, what is our thoughts on preparing for that? And he also said that he wished Nick was here so he can kind of chime in, since like preparing, training each other for combat, maybe not because we're not there with weapons yet, like that's going to take us to buy weapons, but as far as hand-to-hand in combat, like, is there any sort of preparation, training people for something, to prepare for something like that? Do you want to chime in, Josana or Rome or JB?
I think that anything is valid, but I always feel like maybe because of the lack of education that prepares you to have critical thinking, Americans always sound like they need to be well equipped in order to fight. And what I was saying before with the analogy of the 2020 protest is like, protest, this time, this place, we go. There's no more time for like, I will fight. Do that. Like, you can do whatever you want while you walk. It's the same type of comment from the before. Like, you can do whatever you want while you walk the walk. It does. It's not like,
So
you're
you're
not gonna
saying
become a Marvel.
Americans are like, so you're saying Americans are like, wait a minute, I gotta wait till I get my knee pads, I gotta wait till I get my arm pads, my helmet. It hasn't come yet from Amazon yet, so I can't join yet. So hold on till I get everything, and then I want to be there. That's what you're describing?
Yeah, because it's so it's so compartmentalized, that tells you that you have to make little workshops to learn how to exist, because you don't have that existential kind of education that tells you that only your presence as a human, it's powerful enough. Feet on the ground, feel the earth. You are part of the earth. You are from earth. Therefore, you have everything you need.
See, in the United States, you're conditioned the opposite. You're conditioned that you're nobody unless you have an education, unless you make six figures, unless you believe all of these things that we all believe. You get what I'm saying? Then you're nobody.
All the little box to check. Yeah.
And this also speaks to what one of the callers said, like, he doesn't think we're going to get there because it's so hard to fight against the propaganda. I can't remember if it was.
Yeah, because you looking in the wrong places,
ahead.
man. Y'all niggas looking in the wrong place. Y'all talking to people who already have an ideology or religion and all that. Just go to the people who has lost their life to capitalism. Get in touch with people that's in prisons. Write them kites if they still let you do that. Whatever it takes to talk to the people who's ready. There's the majority of this country don't vote, and a lot of people just don't give a fuck. A lot of people are in the shit, so we can't waste our time with these people who's liberal minded. Like, oh man, just see it my way, please. Like, no, they live in a gentrified neighborhood. Why would they want to change anything? They living good. They got an infinity pool and a fucking Bentley. They're not gonna ever be on our side. I just said this. We can't expect anything from these people but to be on the wall.
Can I chime in on this
Absolutely.
right before we move on?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. One thing that can be done is there's like Socialist Rifle Association, there's the Huey Newton Gun Club, things like that you can train if you want to. You can actually get people together, get your neighbors together, that are part of the proletariat, and do things with each other, and learn different things so that you can be able to defend yourself whenever you need be. But the thing is that you can do that and continuously do revolutionary things, and not just by revolutionary, I'm saying actions involving going up against physically, but learning about different things, having I don't know, like learning theory together, or building like a community garden together. All these different things you can do at the same time while doing this. And for some people, it's a little bit easier than it for others like us. You know what I mean? So, you can do. We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Facts.
Even though they tell us we can't.
And there's a place. There's a place for everyone in the revolution. I don't think people who like I don't look over the shoulder of the proletarian that's writing future laws for us or whatnot. I'm like, oh no, that's wrong. Blah blah blah. Knowing my job is being on the front line, or at least trying to get the front line amped up. This is the problem. I think that we are looking at what a revolution is and whatnot, and we're not looking at or asking ourselves what can we provide for the revolution. Because it's easy to say it would be like this and that, but we got to make, if you want it your way, we got to make it our way, right? So yes, join organizations. If you don't like the organization, then make your own. It isn't that hard. If that person did it, you can too. It isn't that hard. Just be in it to win it, man. You got to let people know that you like you are really ready to fight, man. But don't look over the shoulder of somebody else in a different you know what I'm saying? I want to say in a different rank or whatever, but don't look over the shoulders of the front line and say, well, damn, I really don't want these people killing people. I really don't want the front line hurting anybody, but we know.
Can I address? Can I talk to Tyler? Tyler, look, I am capoeira, but I'm not like Nick. Nick's passionate about the things that he does. I just like capoeira teaches. I like to be. You don't show the enemy everything you have, right? But to be quite honest, I do believe that discipline and training gets you sustained resistance. But what my critique on that thought is that practicing is also training. Practicing is also develop consistent resistance, because all the skills are different. Maybe I will need to train more capoeira while I beat the shit out of a cop. But maybe JB will have to build resistance in his eyes and mind to be online telling us where they're coming from. So, we need to practice. We need to actually do the doing. And then the training will happen while we process.
So you're saying like let's do and train at the same time, like do and we're also training you at the same time.
Because you're gonna run into those people with those goods and that knowledge to actually train you people. Because that hey.
And what I'm saying, JB, what I'm saying, CJ, is the J's I changed. What I'm saying is just do. We learn by doing too. We don't need to study before we do. Just do. And if you want to train during the doing, train. Nobody's going to tell you do not train, but do. Do the doing.
It's like hey, yeah, there's a revolution coming, and this empire has done this so bad. We really don't have preparation to really prepare. Like we just have to. The fight is already here. Is basically what you're saying. Like the fight is already here. There's really no time to prepare separately. You have to do both. Like there's not time to wait and prepare to use that time to do both.
Y'all are prepared. Y'all are prepared. Most Americans own guns. Most Americans know how to handle them. Most Americans know how to shoot. Most Americans know how to clean a gun. Most Americans run. I see tons of joggers every day. So y'all already go to the gym and take pictures of your butt. You fucking ready. Right?
I haven't been on Instagram so long. I forgot. That's the platform of butts. That's the butt platform. Is Instagram. That's
Let me shut up. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm muting myself.
But great question. Can I bring up the article now? And you want to kind of get us up to date on the article because it is in another language. I know you got another one, another link too. I can put up whenever you're ready.
No way. Why did it translate to you? Because for me, they came in English.
Oh wait, it's not. Oh.
You're not supposed to translate. They are written in English.
What did I click? Did I click something?
Maybe you said yes. I'm gonna try to take it off and bring it back again. And then open the Safari or whatever. Oh no, it's Google Chrome.
Hold on, let me go back. Let me just go to the private chat. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen. So yeah, this one I just clicked on it.
Click on it again, and it's gonna. I think Google Chrome will ask you if you want to translate, and you maybe.
Maybe it's. No,
because it's weird. No, Natalia
it comes up translated. But maybe
okay, so
JB, maybe
you can
try to do it, JB.
No, I will try to share my screen. I have to learn it. I will learn it. I promise you.
My sister is from Brazil.
Everybody but like the article was written, CJ, by the journalist that White introduced to you and introduced to me, and I love her, and she's amazing, and I'm so grateful that you introduced me to her. So the article is in English.
Maybe I'll just go to the article without clicking the link. But you can try it too. Let's whoever gets there first, whichever one works, I guess.
It's translated for me.
That's
okay. Then you share it. You share it. Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is, it's in a different language for me.
It's in a different language for you. Oh, so the same thing.
Yeah.
Mine too. Same thing happened to me. So let me see if I can show at least one of them. I don't know what's going on. The FBI took the article. Yep. I will translate word by word, you fucking cops.
Well, I know in the link there is a BR. So maybe if I just took the BR out and put a US for US, that might fix it.
Don't put that. Just take the BR out.
Is the New York Times article link? Is that something different, or is it also because I can bring that up first and we figure out the other one? You sent the New York Times.
Bring the New York Times one.
Okay, we can bring that one up first while we figure out the other one.
Using Chrome, right click so you can translate it to English.
So I'm gonna introduce, and you can bring. The reason why I'm doing that is like, so there was a guy that came on RBN's General Strike Summit, and I was in a stream with him. And he seemed very knowledgeable and polite, but then he started talking a bunch of really, really, really unintelligent, or even I don't have much vocabulary to curse without being mean and ableist. So he's been saying bullshit. And then I saw him I didn't see it. Somebody sent me a video of him and a Vanguard guy on Jimmy Dore, and they were saying that the elections in Colombia the result was really bad. This guy was saying because the new president is is going to be bad because the other one was a good one, was a populist, and he wanted to nationalize resources. I'm not here to like, it's just that I think white people, they will white at some point, they won't hold back. And this guy talking points are extreme far right talking points. A populist is an extreme far right dictator. They want to nationalize, but they are not good people. They work with corporations in order to create corruption so they can get money and resources away from the public to the private, meaning they steal you. So I did a research, and then he said like, he said something about, and I forgot because I'm not gonna show the video. Sorry. He said something about like, he said some specific stuff that it's, sorry, now I forgot, that is actually Steve Bannon created that myth. And I brought the articles Natalia wrote to show you guys that Steve Bannon is actually building a whole far right movement outside of the US. So if we cannot talk about, like, if we cannot show the articles today, I can just like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is what, you know, this is
Close the door.
when you don't subscribe to them, that thing just pops up right there.
It's a money wall. I don't subscribe to them.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to them either. So, I don't know. I don't want to. You're not able to do it without the article. I mean, I don't know how can we do it without the article.
Without the show. Let me try to get from Natalia's message to you, CJ.
So, but let me first understand. And there were some questions in the chat too, trying to understand what exactly are we talking about, because I'm not quite sure either. So what is the?
I'm not gonna give names.
So there was somebody on the General Strike Summit that we invited on.
Yeah, and no, he is actually. Yeah.
And what happened?
I don't watch his shows. Like, I don't watch his show, but I know about him.
Who are we talking about?
She referring to what Jackson Hinkle has said on Jimmy Dore.
And what was said?
Thank you for understanding me, bro.
Yeah. Just basically the last election, because you know the South is basically doing their thing. You know, they're taking back power and whatnot. But we was sharing, and he was saying that, you know, this is a bad thing because these people wanted to the last president wanted to nationalize, but overlooking that this motherfucker was a plant anyway. But that's, I don't know.
What's a bad thing?
This new president winning. What country was
CJ, can you please connect to Signal? I found all the receipts and they are all in English now. And the last one, the most recent one, is going to be the link for the video of what Jackson is saying. I think I have to show these things. Thank you for translating, bro.
Yeah.
But I think I have to.
But I need that on my computer because I don't. This is on. You sent it to me on Signal. Yeah. I need that on.
I got you.
Oh, thank you, JB. Oh my God! Sorry, guys. They are also experimenting if I can bring on things to be discussed on RBN, and I guess not.
Okay, so it's the. Wait, did you? You say you sent it on Signal?
Oh, okay. I will. JB, this is the first one, please.
Okay.
Just got it?
Yep. All right, just give me 1 second. Doobie doobie doo, JP got you.
Yay!
All right, kids.
The second one.
Okay. So I got the first one up, ready to share whenever you need me to.
Thank you. You can share now. Thank you.
Okay.
And then the third one.
Okay. All right. So let me share my screen. Let me see. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay. All right. All right.
Guy and his administration, his lackeys, are funded by the same arms that are backed by George Soros. You look at USAID and the Ford Foundation. They're ushering in woke ideology into Latin America, and they're saying no to the idea of nationalizing their oil and yes to the idea of legalizing drug trades with the United States. And
yeah, so fingers crossed. It's I didn't know that about the his vice president and the people running with them, that they were all being funded by the same old shifty neoliberals. I didn't know that part, but I know that the recent history, of places like Peru, Chile, Ecuador, they've all started like this, then they all ended like Obama.
Yeah, there was a guy, another candidate, Hernandez, who was running for president in Colombia, and he was a populist who wanted to nationalize Colombia's oil industry and work closer with China and investing in industrializing Colombia. And he was seriously out fundraised by the likes of the now president-elect.
So you're saying the real lefty got left behind, right? He didn't get as much funding. The guy who's the real lefty, of course, didn't get the funding. The guy who's the faux lefty, looks like you're saying, got all the funding, and he became president.
Yeah.
So that's where identity politics comes into play in the United States, is that they'll fake you out. They'll give you a Pete Buttigieg who's just Mitch McConnell but gay.
Yeah. And with Soros, what he's been doing is he's creating all these higher level institutions, college campuses across the world, and he brings in this sort of like woke ideology to countries that don't have it and acclimates their youth towards this progressive social mindset. So when there's a first candidate that starts embodying these sorts of slogans, they'll select them over a populist that might be better economically for the working people of their country.
Exactly right. So let's hope that this is not what happened. Let's try to wish President Petro, all the luck.
Okay, so this first, it might have been cut in a tendency to smear, because that's what happens. But I just wanted to push back on the George Soros conversation, because I'm born and raised in a country that has a history of fights for our rights. I'm born and raised in a part of the continent that actually has fighters. Don't forget, Che Guevara is Argentinian. He fought in Cuba, not in the USA. So I think when we want to sit our butts and say that we are leftists, we have to start respecting those that came before us to pave the way. So I think it's very irresponsible to diminish a whole movement and say that they are being funded by George Soros. Because the George Soros myth was created by Steve Bannon. In the times with the first election with Bolsonaro, you know who was the campaign person for Bolsonaro? Steve Bannon, guys. And that's where, JB, you bring the first article up. Steve Bannon was Bolsonaro's campaign man. And he created a net of fake news in Brazil through WhatsApp that even when one of my sisters was involved, almost, because she's evangelical. Bolsonaro appealed to the evangelicals to win the elections in Brazil. We have a very high number of evangelical people. And also in the government, half of the seats. So we fight with them too. Bolsonaro was accepted by the new evangelicals in Brazil when he was baptized in Israel so he could be elected. Now, Steve Bannon has a movement, and I have to find the name in the article. Is a far-right movement that comes with the social media that was created when Trump was banned from Twitter. They all have a huge. Steve Bannon is the CEO of this net, and they all are in conversations with Bolsonaro. So the George Soros myth is what I wanted to address, because you're disrespecting the whole movement and calling it. You're actually you're disrespecting the MI-19. I want to see your ass in Colombia after you did that. I really do. Like, do not disrespect revolutionary movements. Do not do that and call yourself a leftist, because then you are not. But it's important. And when I was researching to just like call this person out, I actually discovered, like, I made so many connections by just doing it. And so now I'm kind of grateful for this guy talking this BS, because everything that is in these articles, it's so important for us to see and understand that the US moves on a block. The white supremacy moves in a block. The reason why Biden invited Spain to the Summit of Americas is because a Spaniard politician is the leader of the right-wing movement in the world. And they are all now looking at the global south as we radicalize ourselves. So yes, sorry. That's
Why is it
not
these
all, but
motherfuckers? I don't know, man. They shouldn't even be speaking on these things, or these people, these countries. I think Americans have done enough damage, and yeah, some people should just learn to shut the fuck up sometime.
Yeah, I found something on Black Agenda Report. These are friends of ours who, Margaret Kimberly, Danny Haifeng, Ajimo Baraka, they're all part of this. And, one of the paragraphs says, while his millionaire competitor, Hernandez, claimed to be of the people, Petro said that he would call a national emergency upon entering office to address hunger in Colombia, joblessness, empty bellies, and dangerous housing plague in the country. The situation prompted last year's month-long national strike. Petro has been criticized for announcing that he would end oil and gas exploration as well as phase out fossil fuels as a way to address global climate change and transform the economy. Coal and oil shipments account for almost 40% of the country's exports. He announced the announcement worried the industries. So he's basically and from what I'm seeing in the chat is that Jackson Hinkle he basically said that he was incorrect. Am I correct in that, chat? Because that's what I read a little bit earlier, is that he basically retracted what he said. I'm not exactly sure if he did, but I just want to make sure that he does. But I just to go down into the article that you submitted, Josana.
Yes.
You said it starts off. It says far-right organizations like Project Veritas in the United States and the Vox Party in Spain are increasingly looking to Latin America as the key to consolidating international network. To prevent that from happening, Jair Bolsonaro must be stopped from winning or stealing Brazil's 2022 election.
So the reason why she starts the article asking for, like, it's like a cry for help, right? Like that he has to be stopped. Yeah. Is that now Steve Bannon created a campaign saying that the electronic vote is rigged, and Bolsonaro, if he loses, that's going to be because the election was stolen. I mean, it's just all over again with Trump.
Yeah,
it's just
just to make sure. So where Pilgrim says kind of, he said he retracted the comments on Hernandez being a better choice, I think. Okay, so I mean, if he corrected the record, based on the objective facts down on the ground, then that's good.
Did he retract it, saying that Petro went to like just make nationalized drug deals with the USA? Like, it's. I'm so sorry. It's just that like I know it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be saying these things, but I'm just so freaking tired of like watching people go over and over on YouTube, say whatever they want to say, and they have followers and they have platforms and they are being listened to, and all they are doing is still spreading misinformation. A large part of the fact that we have lack of action in this country is misinformation. And I think the voices that need to be heard, they aren't being heard, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I think it's best to try to get people from the area, if you can, to chime in on it. It one of a great oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the channel, but they do really good work, and they talked about what was going on in Colombia. It's with Rania Khalek. She's part of their group, but I think it's good because they have people from that area that they interview as well. So it's good to get people on the ground who are anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist, especially the journalists on the ground from there.
Well, I'm a person from the area, right, JB? When I sit
Yes.
here and I talk, I'm not talking out of my opinions and impressions of what I think that is going on. I'm born and raised in South America. My conversations in the phone when I call South America are about these things. So I think I also have a little bit of resistance with like specialists from the USA. There are specialists in South America or specialists in Africa. I have a little bit of pushback on that too. Because like it's everything online. You can get voices from these places like we did in the Imperialist Summit, Anti-Imperialism Summit. We had people from Africa, we had people from the UK. We talked about the Ethiopian situation with the person from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
We can do these things.
Let me ask you this: would you be open to giving him the pushback necessary to correct the record fully if he were to have you on and talk to him?
JB, let me tell you something. I'm on the older side of the spectrum. So I do not debate just to be a debate bro and win a debate.
Yeah, I understand.
So I could go have a conversation with him, of course, but I am not going to show him what it is and no.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was referring to. I was
But like doing like you do, like with Grace, and like sit with the person and have a conversation. Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's basically what I was referring to, is basically correcting the record so that he gets the information that on the ground that's more accurate according to the reporting, so that people aren't confused about what's going on, especially in the Southern Americas. That's what I was basically asking. I wasn't asking as far as debating, because I don't like debates either myself. So I'm sorry. I apologize if it sounded like I was asking about that like that.
Yeah, no. You're fine. You're fine. It's just like I'm saying that because I know how you're asking. I know because I know you.
Yeah.
Nick, chill. Goddamn, boy. This nigga just crying. Like, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Okay. And nobody's lying on anybody. Even he said that it was misinformation. So shut the fuck up.
And if he's willing to correct the record, then you have to give him credit for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we already gave him credit. Damn, what the fuck you in her crying for? Every goddamn.
Yeah. But the thing is that we have to make sure that we also
talking shit about how I don't like his ideology, because I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to be cool, but I don't like how his people come after my people. I don't like how his people come after these pat socialists come after communists, especially tankies.
Yeah.
And you can tell a lot about a man about with the company he keeps. You're making me mad, Nick. I can go off about a whole bunch of shit. Stop it.
Where Pilgrim said that Pasta did talk to him yesterday on Jimmy Dore. So I haven't seen it, so I don't know exactly what was said. Some people said that he kind of partially walked back, but you know,
Yeah, I just feel like it's dangerous enough because these talk. I agree with Rome. We can just move on and have a fun ending for this stream. I'm sorry if I like derailed the stream, but I kind of told you I was going to do it. I feel so. You knew. So I just feel like we have to be very careful with playing a character to be on YouTube talking politics. And that's for everybody, not just for him. Because this American mode of I'm going to put a mask on and talk politics, but I'm not about what I talk, I can be used as a PSYOP anytime. The talking points they had in the beginning of the video were talking points of far right wingers, and that's alarming. That's alarming. So just, I don't know, see yourself for what you are. It would be a good thing.
Oh, we have to be careful about where we get some of our information. And Sabby chimed in. She said Pasta was on my show and gave a detailed breakdown about what he saw in Colombia. And from what I remember seeing that stream with you, Sabby, is Pasta is basically saying what Josana is saying right now about how it was, he is basically even better than Bernie, as far as people are concerned. So,
we know Pedro in these movements. He was something else. He is a guerrillero. Like, you have to respect people's histories, and especially the vice president. I don't like her history because, like, I sent to you guys like all her bio, like her history of fight, to be reduced to identity politics. That's why they won. Just stop it. This is very imperialist. I'm calling out American people right now as a whole.
Well, yeah, and that's one actually point that you're correct on, is that it's not necessary. It's like she just so happens to be a Afro Latina that did all these amazing things to get to where she's gotten. And so we can't just reduce her down to her identity. We also got to focus in on how, and I use this in the positive sense, how savage she is at getting the rights of her people, uplifted. And so I think that, we have to focus in on that. And, I don't think that was maybe, that it was just identity politics that got her there, and we shouldn't reduce it down to just that as well. So, I mean, I hear exactly what you're saying, Josana.
Awesome. Yeah, and I was I don't want to like cause anybody to be in a difficult situation and like isolate or be nothing like that. It's not me. Like, I would never destroy the platform of people that have to have a platform. You know what I mean? Like the people that I should be giving platform to. But I'm just saying that, like, if we are building a movement, if we are about the fight, we have to be about the fight. We have to be, and we have to be able to people holding us accountable too.
Yeah.
To be able to hear them, to listen to them, and
yeah,
he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Big boy. Did you want me to move on to the next article, or did you want me to? What did you want me to do, Sam?
I want. Oh, thank you, Yasmin. I feel like I want us to like just have fun right now, JB.
Okay.
Because it's me, you, and Rome, and
AKA get
Oh
demonetized.
damn! You just reminded me. Oh man, it's about to get hot in here. Oh Lord, let me take this jacket off. I know what's about to happen. I know.
My whole family's in the chat. Dave, Vi, Joy, Zaina. Look at that. But like, you go ahead.
I don't even know. People, I do not look at the goddamn comments because people piss me off. I don't even watch these people. That shit right there. I'm not even gonna comment. Just know I disagree.
By the way, the interview with Shama Sawant really well earlier today. If anybody who is not on my channel, you guys can go to my channel and
Can we go over a little bit? Tell us a little bit about it.
No, because I want y'all to go to my. No, just kidding. No. No, because one of the things that she spoke about, it was very interesting, was that when it comes to building up power also means not just throwing the candidates at the wall or throwing different movements at the wall to see what sticks, is being very strategic and knowing basically where to strike where the iron is hot, right? And so she was very adamant about making sure that the decisions that are made democratically. Join an organization, something like that, to make democratic decisions of where to strike, as far as if you want to do an outside party. Alex, man, I was trying to be serious. I'm trying to be serious, right? And then you. I love you anyway. Let me finish. Rome, you shut your freaky ass mouth right now.
Yeah, I can't.
You shut that pie hole. That sweet potato eating, weed smoking pie hole of yours.
Nigga, I know you. It looked like you were enjoying that chair I put together for you, man. I know you loving that chair, man. I was just looking. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. Stop it, JD. Stop it. Look.
One day,
gamer, you behave yourself now.
At Camp Dada, we got you. We got you on
Don't
Camp
make
Dada.
me get the hose. like Anna Kasparian said, hose be knowing.
Why are you talking about Camp Dada?
Oh my god.
Oh no, sorry.
It's gonna be RBN after dark.
No, it's not gonna be RBN after dark.
No, guys, Rome is lying right now.
Is RBN with the lights
on? Camp stories. What you talking about?
Yo, it's RBN with the lights on. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Do it again, but do it like this. No, not me. How can I put you? Wait. Go.
It's RBN with the lights on. Did y'all screenshot it yet? I hope you did.
You say you like it with the lights on, huh?
Meme, people.
You say you like it. You like it with the lights on, huh? You want to see everything.
Okay, let's play a game now. So JB will lip sync Rome. Rome, you are the narrator, but JB is like he's saying the things. I'm just gonna mute myself. I want the chat to maybe we can make it a challenge, but let's do it. Go Rome challenge.
I don't know what to say. What the fuck you want me to say? I just he's just mocking me. That's what y'all are doing. That's how y'all gonna do me. I'm high as hell.
Yeah.
She caught me off guard with this. What the hell? Oh my God, y'all niggas, it's crazy.
You know, high Rome is the best Rome.
Man, I stay high, man. I gotta stay high on this. People like, you need to stop smoking. No, you need to stop telling me what the fuck to do. I'm a grown ass man with a grandson. I will karate chop your ass. Tour for the poor. I will be out there. I will be out in Kansas City, July 10th. But I'll be out there a little bit before then. Of course, I'll be letting the neighborhood know and whatnot. But that'll be the official date for Tour for the Poor and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got planned for it. Oh yeah, and I'm going to Delaware. I keep forgetting because I don't like Delaware. Delaware isn't a real state. Isn't it's not a real place, you know. It's just a company, a corporation. So I always, you know, much love to my comrades out there in Delaware, though.
In the tri-state area. My family's not too far from Delaware. They're in Jersey, but not too far from Delaware.
What's in Delaware? Poor people. Homeless people in Delaware. So I might end up doing another tent run or you know, some I can just hop in and hop out. I'm thinking about renting a van, hop out on certain communities and certain areas, helping as much people as I can and getting the fuck on before the police come get me, because they're not gonna be playing that shit out there in Delaware.
That's true. Corn pop.
Yeah, bad dude.
Yeah. Corn Pop is a bad dude, and he ran around some bad boys.
And black people are roaches. I mean,
the little kids used to rub my hair.
That should have ended that shit right there. Like what?
Because they used to.
My hair was blonde. And the kids used to rub my legs.
They used to rub my leg down and watch their hairs come back up. And they used to sit on my lap. And I love kids sitting on my lap.
And I learned about a lot of things from black people. I learned.
Omar, I play capoeira and I hate Joe Biden. Eleazar Becerra, muchas gracias for your super chat from Bronx NYC. I was in Bronx yesterday with the Banks sisters and Lucy from the Blue Moon Red Wine channel.
What y'all doing out there?
We went to see the org, and I have to remember the name. And we went in a workshop that was teaching us about CLT. And I am going to bring them on RBN to talk about it because it's a housing project that is wonderful, which is basically the orgs in the neighborhoods, in the communities. The orgs in the communities, they are taking the public lands that are not being used and transforming it in housing and spaces for the community, and it's super nice. Super nice.
That's what's up. Because I'm about to start building some of them you know what I'm saying, them shelves for the free book for the books and whatnot, for the give and take. And I'm working on some community refrigerators also.
Hey, Rome.
We're gonna get it popping. I still got to open up that clinic out there in Boston, and I'm doing something in New York, so I'll be out there pretty soon. I'm putting something out there in New York, even though I don't like New York. You know, I'm gonna try to work with y'all, but you know, if it don't work, one time I'm gonna give New York one time. As soon as it got something petty, I'm just gonna let it be, because I know it's gonna break my heart, because New York is just a whole nother world to me. And, if somebody break my bench or anything, I'm just gonna wash my hands with New York forever.
It's a Northwest Bronx community in Corgi. And I met Juliana, which is a Brazilian girl that's working with them, and I was so proud. What do you want to say, JB? You have a face like you want to say something.
Does Juliana have a brother?
Hold on, my daughter.
Let me stop.
Yeah, my daughter right here, nigga. My daughter just popped up.
Oh,
hey baby.
Tell her I was just trying to figure out a dance move. That's all. In Brazilian. That's all. That's basically
He's
it.
a tap dance teacher.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm about to take them to the park while I still got some sunlight and this little sun kind of went down. So
Yep.
I'm
Shall we say our goodbyes and how much we love all the people in the chat? Thank you so much for the support when I have to bring weird receipts and articles and stuff to talk about South America and try to explain. And then I don't have the whatever. But yes. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. I don't be here as much as I should be, but I always try to come with the fire if I can. But I love y'all. We're gonna keep this motherfucking ball rolling. Hopefully we can get some more contributors, some more people, because this is about to turn into a movement, I should say. And RBN will be leading the propaganda for the left. And so we got y'all back. We just want to know if y'all got ours, and be ready, because when we make those calls and say we're ready to hit the ground, I'm coming to your city, don't bitch out. Don't think twice on it. Just do it because it needs to be done. So
All right, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning in to RBN Live. It was an extra special stream. So I want all of you to make sure that you push the like button. And if you're not subscribed, then what the hell are you doing? Make sure you subscribe. And make sure your friends and your family and your grandmama and everybody subscribes, because, well, we got to beat the algorithm. Anyway, I want to give all of y'all, I place upon you forehead kisses and smoke them if you got them. We going to be out here. Booyah!
take your granddaddies and your grandparents' phones and subscribe to RBN for us.
And
Give grandma, give me a subscription for grandmama.
Jason,